Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Invest91B, and it's going to be forming in the Indian Ocean, and we're going to have to keep an eye on this because this could form into a pretty intense storm here, and it could hit anywhere between eastern parts of India or Bangladesh or Myanmar. I think that's how you pronounce it here. So it could hit anywhere between like India, as I said, eastern India, all the way to Myanmar. So if you're in them areas in like the next week or so, it's quite advisable if you keep an eye on the forecast and like the local authorities because this could become a very intense like storm as I've said. It could bring in a lot of obviously like bad winds, a lot of storm surge. It could bring obviously loads of rain, and like it could bring like landslides, well, or cause landslides as I should say. So first of all, we're going to use the GFS model. So as you can see, it develops quite quickly, but then it just seems to slow down in intensity, like probably due to some dry air. And then as we go on, it just starts to ramp up here, and it starts to go towards India, and it stalls. Like this will cause some upwelling, and like obviously like when the storm stalls and it comes upwelling, like what that means is it's obviously taking up loads of heat content off the ocean, and it starts like sucking it up, and if it stays there for a longer period of time, it's going to cool down the ocean, and then it could get to the point where it gets too cool to support cyclone development, and then like it'll start to begin for a brief period of time. But as we go on, though, it starts to intensify into a very intense cyclone, 936 millibars. So at that stage, it could be a Cat 3 or a Cat 4 on the Sanford-Simpson scale. So as I said, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it as we go on. So on this previous one, it makes landfall in like western India. Um, as a very intense storm, 935 millibars. So it's obviously going through like rapid intensification. And if we look at the winds here, it looks really intense. And if we look at the northeastern eye wall, which is obviously the most intense part of the eye wall, well on this it's showing Cat 2 to Cat 3. But if I try one more time, I'll try to sample maybe something a bit stronger because it's really hard to test on here. One more time. So far I can only get like Cat 2 to Cat 3 winds, but like with that it'll definitely be a Cat 4 potentially, like with a cyclone. And if we look at the ACMWF here, it explodes pretty quickly into an intense cyclone, and it does a similar thing with the GFS, but it doesn't stall it as long, and then it starts to really intensify. And obviously, as I'm going to show you on the HWRF, the sea surface temperatures are really warm in like the low 30s. So it's not going to be a problem at all. And wind shear looks pretty low as well, so nothing's really in the way of slowing it down. Here, look at the HWRF P. So it's the same as HWRF, but the P just means like it's just basically more zoomed out vision of the HWRF. So as we go on, it's like it just kind of like fluctuates between like tropical storm and like kind of like hurricane force winds, but then it really starts to ramp up as we're going towards April the 30th and like towards the beginning of May. There's a similar thing as the GFS. It takes it around like towards India, then it just starts to stall, and then obviously it starts to weaken, especially on the northern side, like due to upwelling. And I like this feature about the HWRF. You can look at the sea surface temperature anomalies live and like watch it go over the sea surface temperatures, or like watch how it affects the storm. So as we go on here, so he has a storm, as you can see. When it goes over towards India, as you can see, it's starting to leave a cooler trail, but when it goes right towards India and it starts to stall, you can really see it's really affecting the sea surface temperatures here. So yeah, it just took it from, so before we went there, 32 degrees to 27 to 26 Celsius. So that's just a classic example of what upwelling is, and like how storms get their fuel and moisture from. So there, it just like made the sea like so its temperatures go from 32 to 33 all the way to 27 degrees. So I pretty like that like feature there. It's like I think it's pretty cool, like how it shows you what it's actually doing. If we quickly look at the GFS track mean, so obviously in the less days out, it's more certain, but obviously the more days it goes out, the more uncertain, so the wider the spread. So as I've said, if you're in western parts of, not western, eastern parts of India, if you're in the Bangladesh or the Myanmar area, you're gonna have to really keep an eye on this. It could hit anywhere here, but surprisingly, the HWRF and the GFS are keeping it closer to India, and such that the GFS has made a landfall around this area, and there's basically no support from the GEFS like model guidance here. So that's pretty interesting to see that. But but as I said, from anywhere from East India, Bangladesh, Myanmar, you're gonna have to really keep an eye on this. If we look at the satellite floater imagery like presentation here, so at the moment it doesn't really look that organized at the moment. It's trying to sort of blow like convection towards the center, and at the moment I can't really see a closed low. At the moment I can't really see that defined one like circulation, because when there's a defined low, like circulation, you can really see the turn in like on the floor, like as if it's doing that. For example, you can really see the clouds like turning in that way. And I just can't really see it on this floor. So in the minute, I think we should keep it as an invest, but there is now starting to like it's like starting to get more like convection. So this will start to try to form its own surface low, and then it's going to really try to start to sort of gets act together, and then like once it cuts off, and like when it gets that like low that like bit of low like circulation, that's when it'll start to intensify from there. Okay guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss another upload. So I'll keep us up to date in the next days to come, like with this potential storm. And also a quick mention to Kenneth that made landfall in Mozambique. It's just still dumping loads of rain there. It's devastating flooding, and like the winds obviously were catch full strength. So it's like a pretty like significant cyclone that made landfall, and like rain could be a problem for the next week or so. So yeah guys, I hope you liked the video. Please like, subscribe, and I'll be back on another update tomorrow.